Good morning and welcome back. Today we are doing a first impressions review of Agricola 15, the anniversary edition big box that has been looming behind me in every video like it's about to crush my furniture. But here it is, it's about time I talk about this one. This is a first impressions review because I've only played this a handful of times, actually 2 at multiplayer and 1 at solo. So I'm no expert on Agricola, and this will be less of a deep dive into the Agricola game itself and more of a look at this anniversary box edition. With some thoughts on Agricola sprinkled in, because why not? And of course, Johnny here to tell you some opinions too. I also won't be going step by step on the rules or looking super in depth on how to play the game. There's plenty of content on Agricola already. So to start this off, the publisher says about this game that celebrating 15 years of farming in a giant Agricola anniversary box. Get the revised edition of the game, some long lost decks that you could not find anywhere, and a well organized inlay insert for quick setup and storage. A well organized inlay insert? Let's talk about that disaster later. Spoiler alert! The inlay is about as stable as a Jenga tower during an earthquake. Shit is shitty. So this game is considered a classic, one of the all-time greats, an evergreen. But it's definitely a game not for everybody. It's a mid-wave, worker placement game. Don't let BGG scare you. This is no close to a 3-point something in wave. It's actually easy to teach. But as I was saying, this is a game that it's a mid-wave worker placement. It plays fast for the game it is and the time it was released, and is all about the harsh realities of farming life in the 18th century, I think. Feeding your family, constantly struggling, and never really thinking like you accomplish anything at all. Life is hard, man. Life is hard, man. This game makes me appreciate my life, man. And that's exactly why some people love this game and others bounce off it. It's constricted, it's stressful, and it can feel really punishing. That is also why Caverna exists, and this goes in a caveat. But Caverna is another farming game from the same designer, Rosenbolt, that's exactly like Agricola, but there's no constriction, there's no stress, you can basically do anything you like. It feels a lot more sandboxy. You can build a lot more stuff, feel better about what you're building, and it's a lot less stressful. But that's also the reason people either prefer one or the other. Another strong point of this game that people tend to love is the deck of cards. And the deck of cards is what makes this game rather unique every time you play it, because mostly the game doesn't change at all, and there's not that a lot that you can do. You just kind of have to figure out the puzzle of how you can score some points without terribly dying and begging for food. But the cards do offer uniqueness. You always get a new set of cards. You can always only use some of them, and the way you combine them to break some rules of the game and make the game a bit different is what truly shines on this one. And this box does have some different decks. The cards end up adding some surprising depth, considering you only see a bit of them each game, but it works. As for the solo mode, it didn't really click with me, but I played it once, so I can't really give you an idea on how I feel of this game. After 10 plays, or after a year or two, I might feel completely different about how Agricola is, so I don't think my opinion right now is really important on that note. So let's get into the bad, or the infamous, that is this box itself. Not the game, not Agricola the game, but this box itself. And it does have some good, but it has built a reputation, and that reputation is awful. But starting with the positives. This box, at least in my opinion, looks fantastic. It really looks good. I mean, it's not a box you want on your Kallax, but it is a box you want if you are planning on using this game as a decor piece. It's really something. My wife even says this is the most beautiful board game box I have. She wants to display it in a central part and not really with my board games over here. And as I said before, this does include some rare decks that you could not really get before. And before is an important part. So these are the two things that, at least to me, might make this edition worth it for you. The rare decks and the prettiness favor. But then there's the negatives, and there's some pretty good negatives that are really exacerbated considering this is an anniversary edition of a really important game to the hobby. And it's kind of saddening. So let's start with absolute worst offender. The insert. This is, without exaggeration, the worst insert I've ever seen for any board game ever. And the only way you can handle this is that you have to grab it specifically by the middle, and you have to make sure to grab both transversal things exactly the same way, and you can't let them move a single inch to each side, because if you do, one of them is going to go up, and every piece that is in this little compartment is going to fall down and mix with itself. And God forbid that you grab it anywhere else, like it has happened to me before. Everything will just go on the table or on the ground. I'm even afraid just taking it now, because if I fuck up, there's be work to be done. And then there's 2 of these monstrosities. It's bad. No matter how carefully you handle it, there's always a chance that something will fall through, and there's always a small chance that everything will just completely go fuck itself. It's like carrying a newborn made of Legos.
I've seen toddlers organize their toy bins better than this insert. Seriously, burn it and salt the ashes.
And sure, you can glue it, and that's actually my advice, you should glue it. But come on, for an anniversary edition, doing this crap? Because what do you want on a special edition? You want some rare stuff, you want the expansions, and you want the damn insert that works. And this one doesn't work at all. It would have been better if they didn't give you an insert. Then another issue for me that I'm not sure other people feel the same, but is the sheer size, the sheer weight of this box. This box is actually has 2 parts, and they decided to put the heaviest of all on top. And I'm not sure if this happened to a lot of people, but it is so heavy that my box literally arrived with the 4 corners blown out. There was not a single corner remaining. This one caved in, this one caved in, this one caved in, and this one too. And these ones, I did reinforce them with tape, and you should do that. Because if you're going to move this game anywhere else, there's a chance this will just not going to hold it. For a game meant to celebrate 15 years of one of the greatest games in the hobby, it really looks like the care and the love was left outside of the door. Imagine coming home in our anniversary and looking at the door, and there's a big ribbon, everything is beautiful, saying happy birthday, and then you open the door and nothing. That's kind of this game. And sure, you get 2 mini expansions inside, you get some alternate art for the player boards, you do get the decks, but nowhere near enough to consider this an anniversary box. And they truly love the expansions that people want, the actual big expansions, they're not anywhere near. And such a big box that could hold it, that could have it, I mean, what's the point? On the plus side, there is a card box that is actually good quality, it's pretty, I mean, it makes sense for the game art, and it comes with some separators, and it works. It definitely works. So, is it worth it? Honestly, not really. Everyone will make this decision for themselves, but unless you really like this box and you want to have it, and this is your chance of getting the rare decks, and you really play the game so much that you do want the rare decks, because I don't think they're that needed. Again, my experience with the game is a bit too shallow to make this like a big statement. But unless you want those things, you're probably better just getting the revised edition of the game. Because although this one has some good things, it also has some maddening things. And it kind of feels wrong to be investing and putting money on a product that isn't necessarily go to higher highs, but where some things were just done like, how could you do this? How can a company that has been in the board game hobby for so long actually do this? Was there no quality control when they're doing this game? I don't understand. This feels like a wasted opportunity. Personally, I did enjoy it. Personally, I was going to keep it. But now that Awaken Realms is making an anniversary edition, that the only thing you could consider a negative is the art. It depends on your opinion, but if you do prefer the original art, maybe you don't like the Awaken Realms edition. But apart from that, everything else is just better, just leagues above this one. And even the fact that this one was released just a couple of years ago, and so early there's another new edition, just kind of goes to show that the publisher itself, they know this box was hated, they know they fucked up, that's just what it feels like. And they are giving way to make a new edition, but they should say something. They should say something. They should say sorry for fucking it up this bad. So sure, I'll be selling this, even though I do enjoy the game and I would be keeping it. I would be keeping it if it wasn't for the new edition. And by the way, I always play games in my house and I never move these big boxes. If I was going to move this big box around to take it to friend's place or something like that, then definitely no, this game wouldn't be cutting it in anywhere close. But yeah, I'll miss this box on my shelf. I almost considered having the two just because of the box itself, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's too expensive to keep as decoration, and I'd rather this have a new life with someone that actually plays it. So, final thoughts. I'm not entirely sure, but for a first impressions review, I'm giving this a 7. The game itself is closer to an 8, even though I do need to play it a lot more to have formed a better opinion on it, if it goes past an 8 or if it stays at a 7.5. But with the insert and everything where they really fucked up, and the fact they didn't really update components at all, they just made some stuff bigger, all those parts kind of bring the game down like to a 5 or a 6, so I'm standing on a 7 as an overall, and I think I'm actually being gentler to this game.
Generous? Generous, man? You're handing out participation trophies to cardboard disasters now?
And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this first impressions review. This is a game this one definitely leaves a weird taste on the mouth. You kind of want to enjoy it, but there's some really bad things that stop you from. And that's it for now. As always, play more games and stay awesome.